NinjaOne, and Dan the man, Dan Myers, our product manager who is leading the charge on backup. You've seen him on lots of live streams talking all about backup, SaaS backup, unified backup. Now you're talking about something different. Backup wasn't enough for you.
Yeah. I'm a glutton for punishment. I'm taking on new roles, new responsibilities, but I'm really excited about them. We're going to be talking about operating system deployment today, imaging. If you're from the 2000s, golden image, okay, but it's something we all deal with in our day-to-day business. New computers come in; they need to be provisioned. They need to be provisioned reliably the same way each time, right? Many departments have depot and deployment teams that specifically deal with this. And we've created a tool that should help make this easier than ever before. You could start getting away from SCCM and other third-party products like Manage Engine, perhaps even. So I want to explain and demonstrate what we have done. So
Awesome.
the first thing is today. Should I dive into a demo, Jonathan, or did you have any other table stakes?
I have some table stakes for you.
Yeah.
Before we dive into the demo, thanks again, Dan, for taking time to do this. Thank you, everybody, for spending some of your Friday with us. I think everyone has been looking forward to this one in particular, Dan. I remember talking to Stephen Murphy back years ago and talking about golden images and how that's a big thing that people would love to do with Ninja. So very excited to see it. Before we get into the actual demo, how do people get access to this? Is this something they have to pay extra for? Is this something they have to ask their account manager for? Now that they have 11.0, can they just turn it on? What's the deal?
It's ready. It's ready for everyone, and it is free. It is included. When you use a product like Ninja, we believe that you should just have access to this functionality and tool.
Amazing.
Everyone can find it today in administration, library, downloads, and the NinjaOne operating system deployment tool.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that. And with that, yeah, please take it away. Let's see what you got.
Absolutely. So here I am, home, admin, library, downloads. We click this to go ahead and download it. And for starters, you are going to get a Windows desktop app. That's the one I'm dancing in front. This is not Ninja in the web here. This tool's goal, running in Windows, is to create bootable media that you will use for image deployment. You can build it as a WIM if you're going to put this on a Pixie server, an ISO if you want to go work on capturing that clean Windows maybe 11 machine that you've spun up as a virtual machine, and you can create it as a USB drive. Now, this can all be used for both capture and deployment. Some of the best practices that we know in the industry are to capture virtual machines instead of physical hardware so that you're not getting any of the physical bloat or specific drivers. You want as generalized of a machine as possible. So creating this bootable media will create a nice little ISO here. And basically what I already have prepared for you here is us having loaded into that bootable media. I'm showing you the pre-boot, right? You've adjusted your boot order to boot to this USB, to this ISO before your hard disk. And it's how we're going to go ahead and do our capturing and deploying. So first up, we're allowed to capture an image, and we get to state which partition that we would like to capture. Do we want to give this a friendly name? Maybe we'll call it the December Win 11. Okay, where do you want to store this? Today, we want you to store this on a network share so that you could use it in the future. I'm having a good day. Normally, I can't talk and do that username and password at the same time. So I know we're in a great spot here. All right. And then we'll just choose to browse where we want to store that here, right? So I'll come in here and I'll look to go ahead and save this, choose, and we have assumed that you have done the steps necessary to prepare this image, right? You've done your generalization. You have the apps that you want to be deployed installed. But we're going to go in to that in a little bit on why we're taking a different approach with imaging. We want you to create a light image rather than jam pack everything in here. And we'll talk about why that might be. So from there, we get to go ahead and capture the image. And spoiler alert, we're just using DISM. DISM capturing and DISM deploying. We're not reinventing the wheel here, but this will go through and go ahead and capture our Windows 11 machine. I'm going to cancel this. I don't need to capture this. I've already used it. So we'll come back and take a look at what it looks like to actually deploy an image here. Now, thankfully, I've already entered my network credentials, so I don't need to worry about that again. I was already in the spot that I needed to be. All right. So I'm going to select this. If you have any drivers to deploy, you can select a folder with drivers. We also give you the capability of dropping the NinjaOne agent installer directly into the image. Our goal is to get Ninja installed on this machine as fast as possible. We're going to go into why that is here while this deployment is in place. Now, if you're interested, you could still bring along a provisioning package or an unattended XML file, right? So this is for setting your region settings, your keyboard, all that junk when you turn on a computer for the first time. You don't want to be manually clicking through it each time and selecting its profiles, right? You recognize that you're about to erase this disk and you deploy it. Now, I talked about our goal. Our goal is to get this machine into Ninja as fast as possible. Why? And creating a light image. Why? Most imaging platforms do not have an automation and patching platform that the NinjaOne product is. And we get to take advantage of that by not needing to include the kitchen sink into the imaging tool, where you might need to have a whole bunch of task sequences or software deployments, right? And at the same time, you don't need to go install all of your software into the image that you will eventually capture. Think about a scenario in which you're capturing your image with Chrome, and Chrome has a vulnerability. Well, now what? You need to go create a new image with the newest version of Chrome so that you're secure. Well, instead, we let Ninja do what Ninja does best. This is our philosophy. Let Ninja be Ninja. So we're going to allow you to come in here and do some software, right? Let's go ahead and add software automatically. As part of this policy, we're going to make sure that this software gets installed. We'll let you do scheduled automations where you can bring in your task sequences. It is very common in the SCCM world and the imaging world that you want to run some PowerShell scripts, set some settings, make some adjustments here, right? I'm just going to pick some silly ones that are at the top of the list. You're probably not going to be enabling and disabling your CD-ROMs. But what's nice about this is when you need to make an adjustment, you adjust this automation. And don't forget, we have a schedule of run once immediately. So what is additionally great about this is you can have this agent get installed on the machine and go directly to your main policy if you want. The single policy that governs all of your Ninja workstations that you use to support your clients. You could put them in a depot location or a temporary staging location. But why this becomes so powerful is you are not maintaining a set of deployment instructions via SCCM or via any other imaging policy. Maybe you're using a PowerShell script on your current deployment today, and then you're using Ninja's software deployment today. Well, now you're managing two different deployment methods, and are you making sure that you update each one when something changes? So the goal is to simplify, keep things in a single policy or in a policy subtree so that you are creating, your out of box experience, your desired state, with very little effort and without having to put in a large amount of things into this image. So that's where we are today. It is fully available to all today. Um, I'd love to take some questions here in a moment. I'll tell you where we're going with this right now. There's a couple of additional things that we're doing for quality of life. Number one, we want to allow you to predefine the selections of the image, the installer, the unintended XML, instead of having to choose them each time. We're looking at allowing you to bake in everything to a USB drive instead of having to contact a network share. And we're exploring the idea of, even if any of you have used Rufus, there's an option to sort of download the latest ISO from Windows, from Microsoft directly, right? These are the things that we're looking at exploring in the short term. But right now, what we're going to be doing is sitting back and listening to what you have to say. It's a free product, and with that, the roadmap will become dictated by the demand that is out there that meets the cost and associated with the development. But we think we've released a pretty great tool. We're already seeing massive wins across our customers. So that is the operating system deployment tool from NinjaOne.
Awesome. Thank you, Dan. And so, yeah, folks, you've got Dan here captive for a little bit, and take advantage of it. What questions do you have? What are the things that, based off what Dan showed you, that would maybe either, I don't know, stop you or like give you some hesitations? What do you need to see to put this to use? Can you put to use right away? We did see a great comment. Thanks for mentioning this. This is why we're switching to NinjaOne this month. Yes, nice. Welcome. They know what we need and they make it happen. Awesome.
Nice.
It really goes to what Dan's talking about. I mean, Dan is one of the product managers on the team. The entire team of product managers are very active in our Discord. They're going out constantly hearing from customers. They want feedback. This is how we build. It's based on what you need. And so, yeah, any questions anyone has? I'm curious about what folks were doing up to this point. How are you deploying images
Yeah.
or OS
Yeah.
deployment? How were you doing that before? How does this look like to you?
And I'll say, Jonathan, as we get some of these questions coming in, it's a bit of a mind shift change, right? People are used to putting everything in their image, right? And this is it. Yes, you'll adapt it slightly, but it should be much more scalable in the long-term solution. Can you still put as much as you want in there? Of course, right? Absolutely. Maybe you have a really weird line of business application and you still just got to deploy that through a captured image. There's no problem. You can use it, the image as thin or as thick as you like, um, and use it to what your organization needs.
Okay, great. Thanks, Dan. And we do indeed have some questions. For starters, Pilot Gav, do you know how long it might be till we can deploy policies by virtual groups?
I
I'm a little unsure what you mean by virtual
Yeah.
groups.
Yeah, I'd
Can you give us a
love
little?
to hear a little bit more about that, right? We do know that you can create groups through our searches. You can put devices into specific policies, right? Yeah, let us know. And if you can give me some more information, we can definitely follow up offline, and make sure we find that information out for you.
All right, here we go.
Yep. Oh,
Oh.
come back.
Okay, here we go. Man, bear, pig. Glad that you're here. Aside from loading a couple of lightweight software into the image, what advantage does this have over using Windows installation media and then the Ninja agent to install apps afterwards?
Speed. Speed. You aren't having to do the out of box experience of a brand new machine. um, You can control what is in your base image. When I was in MSP, we always re-imaged. We didn't want the junk that was on there maybe when it came from the factory. But I'm actually getting ready to do three computer deployments at home here, just moving things around, and I'm definitely using this so that I don't have to step through each of those. So speed and scale is really where this can be, because it depends on your organization. You might deploy 5 PCs a week. Well, time savings is time savings, right? These savings will multiply. So you can just run around with a couple of USBs and plug them in. Or if you're deploying 20s, 50s, I mean, some people will do 100 machines a month. You've stood up a Pixie server so that it is automatically connecting in and hitting the ground running here. You're only filling out a couple of things and it's doing the rest.
All right. We have a kind of related question. What about OSD Cloud? And there's some kind of follow-ups in the chat of some folks wondering the same thing. This is what they currently use.
Yep. So I'm now learning about OSD Cloud. So I think this is more off of the idea that, right, you may not need a network share over the internet. We're exploring this, right? We're exploring the idea that maybe you could just go host that WIM file. That's what it'll become, right? As long as it's publicly accessible, go for it. I don't know enough about it, but I would imagine that they're allowing you to do some basic configuration, probably some installations, right? Yeah, it looks like a very similar tool.
Yeah, and don't need to put you on the spot there for something. We can follow up on it. And also, I mean, I think what Dan was mentioning before, what makes this a little bit different too is the fact that it's all about getting Ninja onto these devices quickly and letting the policies do the work too, right? And so one less tool, one more cohesive thing.
Hey, come back to my screen. Guys, it finished. My deployment is already done. So it has completed. I'm going to click continue, reboot. And in just a few minutes, we're going to get a nice, lovely Windows 11 screen. So anyway, that's it. It's a fast tool, right? This is a bare bones Windows installation, right? And this took 15 minutes, right? This is why you would want to go thin as much as possible. But if you could image all of your machines each in a 15-minute span, that stuff adds up. Just setting up a new computer, you're like, oh, I'll crank this out in an hour, and all of a sudden it's been like 2.5 hours, and you're wondering where the time went, right? So anyway, I just wanted to point out that it is nice and speedy. And look, here comes that beautiful Savannah background image. It's going to be there.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Where's another question we got while we're waiting for this lovely login screen?
We did get some clarification. Thanks, Pilot Gav. A reminder what the question was. Do you know how long it might be till we can deploy policies by virtual groups? Virtual groups meaning dynamic groups. And if that's related to dynamic policies, I mean, I know that that's something that we'll throw our trademarked soon. But it's something that I believe is actually in some alpha beta testing right now.
Yeah.
If you join the Discord, Gavin, another member of the product team, is actively looking for people to provide some testing and early access feedback on that, and it's something that's going to be rolling out next year.
Yeah. Well, there we have it. We did it. We deployed a machine in record time. I don't know the password, so get that off your screen, and let's keep going with some questions.
All right, cool. We got some more for sure. Okay, so let's see here. Well, here we go.
Yeah,
And you said you wanted
sure.
to cover
That's
this.
no problem. We can definitely do that, right? So come back to me. Um,
Yep.
so there's two parts of this, right? So we're going to create this as an ISO. Inject drivers into boot media. This is very rarely used. You're using this if for somehow you need like a graphics driver that like yours is not playing nice with, or if you're trying to do this over Wi-Fi and you need a Wi-Fi driver here. But essentially, we are just saying, I want you to just go ahead and save this ISO here, create, and it's just going through and just creating an ISO right now. This is just only for the bootable media, right? This is the idea of, and it's all the same, USB, WIM. You then basically load this as the device, right? So I'm using XCP NG hypervisor, right? And I have said that this is the disk I want it to boot from. And I want you to boot to this DVD drive first, right? Here it is, right? So that's essentially all that is. But it is just getting it prepared right now. So yeah, that's how you create the bootable media, nice and fast.
Awesome. All right, let's get you and Edwin. Let us know if you have any other questions there. Thanks for asking that. All right, Eric, how does this affect product keys for Windows?
So that's what's nice. If you want to use an unintended XML file or a provisioning package, you can definitely do that. Let me see if I remember so there's a couple great tools out there. This is not Ninja sanctioned, but you can find a couple of really great unattended generators, right? And they'll help you with key. Oh, great idea. Searching for key license. Yeah, product key, right? So you can do that here, right? So you can create helper files, and these are very traditional, very mature helper files, right? Unattendeds or provisioning package can be done in the Windows deployment. I can't remember. It's on my computer. Sorry, but just look up how to create it's in our documentation as well, right? Which reminds me, by the way, in our and by the way, we've created the ISO. We take you directly to the documentation from this Windows tool. Okay, that was really important for me to make sure that we can get you taken directly there. Now I know if I scroll all the way down here, it'll tell me exactly how to. Yep, here it is, the Windows Configuration Designer. Windows Configuration Designer, right? This is going to pop up. And this is how originally the Ninja installer being an option is brand new. So very recently, I was just adding Ninja via this, right? But there's tons of things that you can do in provisioning packages. You can work on host names or product keys. And then remember, it's up to you. You can do all this in Ninja. Create just basic your PowerShell automations inside of Ninja, so that you're managing all of your configurations, your deployments, you're managing everything in Ninja. That's what we're trying to really take advantage of here. We give you some good tools that are commonly used in the industry, but we just think it's going to be a heck of a lot easier for you to come in and adjust the automation to now use the latest MSI for your line of business application without having to go change it in multiple places, logging into different consoles. Heck, even going and remaking that provisioning package. If you can do that without it, I think you would enjoy that. That's our mantra, at least. So love to hear more what you think or how that feels to you all.
Can we do this deployment remotely to a physical
Not yet.
machine?
So I know that there is such a thing as in-place imaging. we're listening now, right? And we're seeing where the winds blow. Um, I'll be honest, not having this product was one of the major reasons people weren't coming to Ninja. Okay, so we made this feature to make sure that we could win more and give our customers tools that they would love and enjoy, right? You guys have heard me say it. Who cares if I like it? If you don't like it, it doesn't matter. Right now we're winning more again, right? But I've got a nice list, and we know these things are possible. So um, please submit your feature requests. Give us your use cases. Tell me why this is important, right? Don't just send in remote deploy, please, because then I gotta call you or reach out, or I file it away, right? I do file them, but give us your use cases. What are you trying to solve for? Why do you need this? Whenever you guys do these feature requests, the more information and context you can provide, the better we'll be able to make sure we understand.
Awesome. Well, we've got a couple more questions in. We're running close to time, but we'll try to squeeze in a few more of these. So, can we image an existing machine that needs re-imaging over the
Same
network?
thing. I think it's the same thing as the last one. Yeah. Um,
How about this one? So, I recall that there was an option to set up a Ninja bootable that allows multiple different client installers available to select from. Is
multiple
that
different. So
accurate?
I mean, like I think you can. There's a couple of things. I am not perfectly familiar with all of this, but right. First of all, you can go ahead and choose. Create installers that are based around this, right? That go to a specific organization. That have a specific role. And of course, at these organizations, you can set their default policy. Now we know that Kite has developed the. I'll probably fumble through this here, um, but the NinjaOne installer sort of tokenization, right? Where you could basically use a common PowerShell, a common executable with some parameters and tokens. You could absolutely utilize that here as well. I hope that helped answer the question.
Okay, great. We got a couple more. Let's try to squeeze two
Sure.
more in here, maybe. All right. Is there a way being worked on in Ninja to create an auto attendant file based on devices that are currently in Ninja?
To create an auto attendant. So take all the in Ninja based on devices that are currently in Ninja. Oh, I'm sorry, Luke. I don't quite understand. But type it in. If I can't cover it now, I'd like to find a way to reach out. Um,
People are asking how to get in contact with you, Dan. And so, I mean, I would suggest two things. First of all, I mean, you maybe not here on YouTube revealing your email address unless you want to, but the better ways, I think, everybody. First of all, I'll plug the
yep.
Discord again. If you're not a member of the Discord yet, you can join that. There's a link here in the comments that will, or the
Yep.
description of the video that we'll add. There's also this QR code. But there's also you can add follow-up questions and asks here in the comments of this video, and we'll get back to you there too.
Discord is the best. Otherwise, you can contact me at Jonathan. No, never mind. Okay.
Okay. I think that there's a few more things here, but we're right at the time. I did want to bring up one other comment here. Dashcam Jack, thank you for saying this. This is what we live for, honestly. We're going into our second year of Ninja. I'm an admin on it. Can't get over how powerful it is. We just started using OS deployment now, and it's
I'm so happy to hear that. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. You just gave Dan an early Christmas present, so thanks for that. All right, everybody. Lots of good discussion here. Obviously, this is one that has drawn a lot of interest. Dan, thanks for taking the time to do it. Sorry that we have to jump, folks, but the conversation continues, right? Continues in Discord. It can continue in the YouTube comments. For those folks who are watching this as a recording, if you have questions, respond. We actually do see those comments, and we'll respond to them as quickly as we can. much more to come. And I'll just leave us with this. We had to reschedule Kite's session that was on some reporting updates involved with 11.0. And that's going to be rescheduled, I believe, early in the week. I said it's next Wednesday. It's actually going to be next Friday. So we'll update our schedule there. You should see that here in YouTube on the live section. You'll see it rescheduled. And everybody, thank you for taking time to join us. Happy 11.0 week. Happy Friday. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. And